So today we are going to start with this beautiful story that I don't know if it's so beautiful, but let's start, okay? So The Little Boy by Helen Buckley. Once a little boy went to school. He was quite a little boy, and it was quite a big school. But when the little boy found that he could go to his room by walking right in from the door outside, he was very happy. And the school did not seem quite so big anymore. One morning, when the little boy had been in school a while, the teacher said, "Today we're going to make a picture." Good, thought the little boy. He liked to make pictures. He could make all kinds: lions and tigers, chickens and cows, trains and boats. And he took out his box of crayons and began to draw. But the teacher said, "Wait, it is not time to begin." And she waited until everyone looked ready. "Now," said the teacher, "we are going to make flowers." Good, thought the little boy. He liked to make flowers, and he began to make beautiful ones with his pink and orange and blue crayons. But the teacher said, "Wait, and I will show you how." And she drew a flower on the blackboard. It was red with a green stem. "There," said the teacher, "now you may begin." The little boy looked at the teacher's flowers. Then she looked at his own flowers. He liked his flowers better than the teacher's, but he did not say this. He just turned his paper over and made a flower like the teacher's. It was red with a green stem. On another day, when the little boy had opened the door from the outside all by himself, the teacher said, "Today we're going to make something with clay." Good, thought the boy. He liked clay. He could make all kinds of things with clay: snakes and snowmen, elephants and mice, cars and trucks. And he began to pull and pinch his ball of clay. But the teacher said, "Wait, and I will show you how." And she showed everyone how to make one deep dish. "There," said the teacher, "now you may begin." The little boy looked at the teacher's dish, then he looked at his own. He liked his dishes better than the teacher's, but he did not say this. He just rolled his clay into a big ball again and made a dish like the teacher's. It was a deep dish. And pretty soon the little boy learned to wait and to watch and to make things just like the teacher. And pretty soon he didn't make things on his own again anymore. Then it happened that the little boy and his family moved to another house in another city, and the little boy had to go to another school, maybe the school that you're working in. This school was even bigger than the other one, and there was no door from the outside into his room. He had to go up some big steps and walk down a long hall to get into his room. And the very first day he was there, the teacher said, "Today we're going to make a picture." Good, thought the little boy. And he waited for the teacher to tell him what to do. But the teacher didn't say anything. She just walked around the room. When she came to the little boy, she said, "Don't you want to make a picture?" "Yes," said the little boy. "What are we going to make?" "I don't know until you make it," said the teacher. "How shall I make it?" asked the little boy. "Why, any way you like," said the teacher. "And any color?" said the little boy. "Any color," said the teacher. "If everyone made the same picture and used the same colors, how would I know who made what and which was which?" And he began to draw a flower. It was red with a green stem. So very quickly, tell me what you think about this story. Did you like it? Very touching story. We need to make the children, not break them, inspiring story. It's so sad. It's something that happened to me sometimes, is that when I started, like reading this and reading this to a group of teachers, they started laughing. And I was like, why? Why are they laughing? And of course, I think that they actually didn't understand the part of it. So this is something that we know that sometimes it happens. So think about this. How would you like to end this story? Or better yet, how would you like to start a new story? This is something which is very important for us to know. Sometimes we are into this daily planning and going into the classroom and doing lots of things, but we have to bear in mind that we have to teach in a different way, as the Hannah is saying, because our students are not the same. So the next questions are, how long have you been a teacher? Just, like write the 12, okay? 12, 16, 24. Yeah, I've been a teacher for more than 40 years. So imagine. So we know what we're talking, right? Yeah, 40 years, 24. Yeah. Now, are you a BCT? Are you a BC teacher, a C teacher, or an AC teacher? Do you know what it means? I'm sure you don't because I invented it. So this is before COVID teacher, COVID while COVID teacher, and ACE after COVID teacher. Okay, so what kind of a teacher are you? CT, BCT, BCT. Yeah. For us of us who are BCT teachers, we know that there has been a difference between our students before the COVID, now with the COVID, and then after the COVID, right? So, so how many, what, have you seen differences in your students from your first years and of teaching? And if so, what changes have you noticed? Have you noticed something that you can think of? Less motivated. Unfortunately, yes. Students are freer, indifference and lack of motivation, lack of difficult concentrating. So I'm sure that all of you are going to mention this. Their attention span has been reduced, okay? And of course, the lack of wonder and curiosity. They decrease critical thinking because they have everything there. Lack of values and respect. This is something which is really, really interesting, and it's really sad. Um, Social skills. They sometimes they do not know how to, deal with students, with their peers. Bored, and some of you are saying, and less independent. Yes, of course. Poor sleep habits. And when you're teaching teenagers, well, not even teenagers, like fourth graders, fifth graders, it's incredible the way that they are actually getting all the time their screens and not paying attention to how important the sleep is, right? And limited physical activity. Now, what would be the reasons why? Well, the reasons are obvious. So I want to warn you here because it's like the following material contains graphic images that some teachers may find disturbing. Okay, so I am advising you. Okay, so look at these pictures if you are ready to. The first one, look at this. This is for me, this is one of the saddest like pictures in all the world, right? Now look at this. In a park, very nice, but the park is not visited. So that you're in the stroller, you already have things in your stroller. What about at the beach, right? What happens at the beach? You can see these kids, like having, well, they are at home, but this kid, with a Caribbean Sea at the back, and it's really sad. Now, what would be the difference between these three pictures, right? They're still on the sand, and what happens here? So I know the reminders are a lot. So it's no, it's not a sad future for you who are pregnant, all the way around, because you can make a difference. So this is not a talk for you to get frustrated and sad. This is something for you to make a difference. So here, one of the reasons is that the screen time has been increased a lot. Okay, so, and this is something that happens at home, in the parks, at restaurants, and even in schools, right? So this is something that we have to. Oh, parents are lazy. Yes, Marina, it's really horrible, but anyway. So increase screen time. Second reason why. Look at these pictures. They're still very offensive. Okay. Look at these pictures. Look at this mother trying to, like protect her, her beautiful daughter from a balloon or a little ball, right? And look at this, young, very handsome boy, like being spoon fed, right? And what about this? Exactly. So the second reason is overprotective parenting. And please, parents are not doing this because they hate their children, or parents are not doing this because they hate teachers. Parents are doing this because they think that it's a way to love their kids, okay? But there is something that we have to understand, that it's not right, and they do know that this is not right. But uh, in every time that you are in a with a kid, you want to give him everything, and you want to like to to cover him or her for everything, right? Overprotection. And then the third one, in my personal opinion, I would say that this is one of the saddest reasons why. And this is that there is a lack of role models. Okay. So if you go to a restaurant and you see a family, some of them are, like talking, some of them are actually not talking, and they're just, like looking at their cell phones, or even, and even they think that they're doing things right, because it's like, okay, look, this is a photograph, or they taking pictures. So this is something that we have to bear in mind, and not, not thinking about, oh my goodness, what a horrible talk I'm attending. Okay. So as in any single um, life, things in your life, you have two options, okay, in life. The first option is, I am going to complain about everything. So I'm going to say that this is horrible and this is the worst time, and my students are the worst, and nowadays. So that would be complaining. And of course, what do you win from that? Nothing. Okay. And the other would be, do something and make a difference. And as I always think that a teacher, an M&M teacher, should be living in every single school. M&M teacher, a meaningful and memorable teacher, because she teaches, or he teaches, in a meaningful and memorable way. Okay. So what is it that we can do? The first thing that we can do is to provide a stimulating environment. We have to create a rich and stimulating environment that invites exploration, discovery, and imagination. Something which is very important is that there are topics that you will always teach. The verb to be, have and has, the regular and the irregular verbs. There are lots of things, and every single content is there. But the way that we have to give this to our students is to engage them, to be able to learn, to love learning. Okay. So that's the first thing. It's like, in my class, it's it's a very inviting environment, and I am going to take care of you, meaning that I am going to discover who you are. I am going to listen to you, which is something that we have to always do. And we have to model wonder, because our students, actually, they do not know what wonder is. If you look at the sky and it's raining and there is a beautiful rainbow, I don't know how many of our children or teenagers will say, ah, look up, there is an incredible rainbow happening right now. I don't know. Maybe there are some kids, right? Meaningful and memorable. Yes, Vivian. So in here, we have to be role models, okay, for wonder. You can demonstrate your own curiosity and enthusiasm for learning. We can share our own experiences of wonder, and we can discover things with our children and encourage them to share what they already found. Okay, and this is something which is something that I was telling in the previous session, is that one school in Algeciras has they're learning about the amphibians, all the kingdoms of the animals and everything, right? And they have a tadpole, they have a tadpole tank. So they real tadpoles, which eventually and hopefully will grow into frogs, right? So the kids, every time that they go to their school, the first thing they want to go is right directly to their classrooms to see what's happening with the tadpoles. And there, of course, the teacher has a little, like a little paper so that they can write everything that they are observing. So we can actually make our students, really wonder what is going to happen the next day in your class. Of course, being a teacher is very tiring. If we thought, well, if you thought that being a teacher was very easy because you have lots of vacations and you have lots of, very nice days, well, I'm sorry, but no, because the first thing is everything that you do in the morning, it's because you prepared it in the afternoon or within the week, right? So the second thing that we have to do is embrace playfulness. Okay? Embrace the power of play and imagination is fostering wonder in your students. And no matter how old they are, because sometimes we think that young students are easier to teach. Sometimes they're not that easy. Okay? And adolescents or even adults, we have to embrace that, like being joyful and being, like playful can be very nice, right? Because it encourages imaginative play and creative expressions, and they can explore. So we can do that, right? Now, we know that we're living in a multi literate world, okay? A long time ago, I think that a long time ago, we used to only have, like textbooks. So it was the text, you had to learn it by heart, or the teacher dictated you. You wrote it on your notebook, and then you had to memorize it, and then, like put it in onto a piece of paper exactly the way that the teacher dictated that to you, right? Nowadays, we don't have that. We do have, we are multiliterate, and actually we have these multiliteracy skills we have to develop. It's very important as any teacher whatsoever, right? So let's see, what can you see here? Tell me. Junk food, fast food, dinner, American food, junk food, a lunch, junk, fast food, junk. Nobody's saying thank you. Burger and fries, thank you very much. Okay, carbohydrate. Okay, so see, only one picture, and how many words have you given me? You have given me like thoughts, like not healthy, burger and fries, very like descriptive, fast food, unhealthy, calories, fats and carbohydrates. So see, only one picture and you have lots of words. Something which is important is, okay, I listen to my students, and according to what my students say, I can do lots of delicious junk food, very good. And I can do different things, right? Now, what about this? What does it say? Food, food, food. This, everybody, temptation. This is very repetitive, food, because it's the word and the word is there. But some of you are giving meanings. The word food, meals, general statement. See, now with only one word, students are giving you abstract notion of what you showed before. So there are lots of things that you're actually saying with only one picture, with only one word. So this is exactly what happens when we ask our students what they see, what it is, instead of actually giving them all the information, okay? And the last one. So what is it? Everybody would say a circle. And now, what is it? Thinking skills, very good. Brainstorming. Burger, again. Combo meal, junk food, food in a circle. So there are different ways to keep on saying exactly the same picture. But the way that it was, like involved changed, okay? But it doesn't mean that if you put it in a circle, it's not it's not a burger, right? But what happens if I do this? Exactly, prohibited, okay? A warning, ban, unhealthy, no junk food, there is not, prohibited, but see? So there are different types of information. And we have to understand that our students are not actually looking at the things that we look or give the same way that we are actually giving them, right? So these three types of information are called. The first one is pictorial. What you see is what you get. Okay, it's food, it's a hamburger, they're fries, right? The second one is semantic information, and the third one is symbolic information. According to the way, to the context, for example, symbolic information, if I tell you that you are you're going to enter a museum and you see this sign, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that it's not healthy, or it doesn't mean that they won't have, um, you know, it's no eating, exactly. So as you can see, it all depends on the context, right? And this is everything that we have to bear in mind. Sometimes we don't take a little, like a little time to see and understand what is it that we are teaching our kids, or how is it that they are actually looking at. Okay, so let's see. Something which is important is how is it that we teach vocabulary? And let's say you have these pictures, okay? Drawings, pictures, realia. That technique is called illustration, right? And everybody uses it to teach what? What part of speech do we teach here? Nouns, exactly. So all the nouns are very easy to depict, right? So you can have drawings, pictures, or reality. On the other side, we have another technique, which is demonstration, action, mind, gesture. So what is it that we're teaching with demonstration? Exactly, verbs. So if you want your students to understand that walk is walk, then you ask your students to walk, and then you say walk, right? And then we have another technique, which is called contrast, antonyms and synonyms. And of course, what is it that we teach? Exactly, adjectives. Very good. So those are the parts of speech that we have to teach all the time if we want to learn a new language, right? And then we have explanations or description, concise definition, examples, and translation once in a blue moon, please, because translation is not a good thing to do all the time. And of course, this is for concepts, okay? When you're teaching, and of course, yes, grammar as well. Sometimes if you want to teach grammar overtly, grammar structures, then you explain, you have a concise definition, yeah. And the last one would be through context, okay? And of course, we're going to actually, like teach conjunctions, prepositions, something that you're not going to devote one class in, just, giving them this is and, this is, right? So all of these techniques, I'm sure that you do it. But one important thing, and all of those who know me before today, you know that I have a word that a teacher must always use. It's something that not all the teachers do. When teachers are presenting vocabulary, I do not know why the teachers put the flashcard on the board, and immediately, what do? They say, look, number 6, mammals. Number 6, mammals. Repeat, mammals. Exactly, Anna. Very good. Is illicit. Very good, Philip. So what happens here is that we need to elicit everything. Invite your students to say it. I know, Joanna, not all the teachers work like that. I know, but it's something to to prove my point. So in here, it's very important to ask your students the perfect question: what is it? What are they? And immediately you listen to your students, and there. Now, after this, of course, you have to make them repeat. And repetition sometimes is a little bit, some people think that repetition is not important, but when we are learning a new language, it is really important. Memory is very important. And the repetition is really, really important. So why not having, exactly, elicit and then drill, choral and individual drilling. And now I am going to have a very nice bowl, and then we ask our students to look at the bowl and ask our students to repeat the word as many times as the ball bounces, like this, okay? Are you ready? In your house, do it on your own. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Mammals, 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 mammals. Okay? In this case, your students are going to look at it. They're going to have a blast. They're going to laugh. And even when you're playing with sixth graders, not just the very little ones, really, something which is very important is that you have to experience, right? Now, number 1, what are they? Ready? And reptiles, 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 reptiles. And little by little, the kids will be able to have fun. Okay. Once you already know all this vocabulary, and there are lots of different techniques to make them repeat in a playful way, in a different way. Okay. So this program is a PowerPoint. I mean, this is a keynote, but in a PowerPoint, you can do this without any problems. Okay. So let's see what happens now. Look, tell me, now we're going to talk about this type of animals, which are, what are they? Mammals. Okay, so tell me, look at this and see if you can understand what I wanted you to say about this. Mammals have fur. Very good. Mammals have fur. Mammals have fur. Okay, so we have, well, a bear is not a domestic animal. So animals have hair or fur. Very good. Second cloud. They have what? What do you think it says? They have, very good, warm blood. They have got warm blood, okay? So it all depends if you're doing in American English or in British English. So mammals have got fair. Mammals have got warm blood. And something that happened in the previous session, something that I really like, is that said, what happens with dolphins? Dolphins are mammals. So one student might say, not all the mammals have fur. So you say, you're right. So some mammals have got fur. Okay. So you listen to your kids. And then the third speech bubble, this one would say, mammals. What do you think I wanted to say here? And the whale as well. Very good. Mammals produce milk. Mammals produce milk. So what is it that we do? We make our students a little bit curious when they see different drawings, the drawings they already saw before, which are the flashcards from the book. And then they start, like looking at this, and we are actually making them saying a little paragraph, okay? So it could be gives milk. So it could be saying, everything at the moment, like mammals have got hair, but now we know that dolphins and whales have not got hair. So it's like some mammals have got hair. They have got warm blood. they produce milk. And then we ask them to open their books. And then it's like we prepare their minds to see exactly what they are going to find out in the book. Okay. And then the next exercise could be, now look, read about reptiles and see if we can do something like this. It's not a red flower with a green stem. What we want our students to do is we want to teach them on how to make little sentences without any words. Okay. So they would actually come up with different ideas. Okay. And in that case, the students are going to really enjoy what they do. Okay. Now, another way to get our students' attention, and it's it's like a mind map. Exactly. So we're making a little mind map from the book, because as teachers, we prepare our classes. So it's like from the book, before the book, I am going to engage you in the curiosity of what is it that you're going to do with the book. Open the book, and then immediately you see, now I can read this because it was very easy. Now, very quickly, tell me, this I'm going to tell you very quickly. These lines represent the present, okay? This line represents the past. This represents the future. This exactly now. And this represents, very good, the tenses. So this comes, this D stands for day, okay? This stands for week. This for month. And this for year. What happens if I do this? Immediately, you might say, yesterday, last day, very good. Yesterday. Now, this is last week. And this is next month. And this is next year. So what is it that we're teaching without telling them what it is? And then the curious corner would say, what do you think they are? Are they adverbs of time? Are they frequency time? So you can actually, like the timelines. So this represents stop, okay? And now is stopped. And this is go, but now this is went. So what is it that we're doing? By just identifying visually speaking, we're telling them, okay, if you see one line, don't worry. The only thing that you have to do is, add an ed and be happy. If you see two lines, watch out, because you have to learn them by heart, because you have to memorize them. So this is run, but now this is run. But what happens here is drink, and now it's drinking. Okay. And now what about this? This is run, but now it's runs for the third person. So as you can see, we're actually giving them what they are about to see here on the page, okay? So in this case, what is it that you're going to do is, okay, look, the first thing is look at exercise number 4 immediately. What is it that I want my students to do here? Very simple. I want them to draw, not repeat, no, nothing. Just before listening to the track, I want them to pinpoint and say, look, painted, regular, regular, because here we have the ed. And watch out. If you want to make a question, you have to use the present. You have to use the present, okay? So it's just something that is going to help you, and it's a very different way to engage your students to see exactly the learning in a different way, in a fun and playful way. So to wrap this up, teaching students to wonder involves nurturing their curiosity, encouraging inquiry, and fostering sense of awe and interest in the world around them. This is something very important for us to understand, that our students will always go to school expecting something different from the teacher, okay? And something which is important is that the teacher must do something. The teacher must love to be a teacher. If you love being a teacher and you know that you can make a difference in your student's life, then of course it's going to be very tiring because you have to practice and present lots of things. But the students are going to enjoy it, and little by little they are going to be learning how to love learning. Okay, so this is the power of wondering. And something which is important is for you to understand that you're not alone. And we know that the world is, like the kids are not paying attention and all those things, but we can make a difference. So I invite you to keep on making differences in your world of teaching. So thank you very much for being here with me today.
Great, Miriam. It's been a great pleasure to listen to you, to all your tips. So many practical tips, okay? The comments are great. We are very happy to see that you're all enjoying this. Great, great. Just a few questions that some teachers have asked. I think that several teachers have got the same thought, the same concern. It's okay to motivate learners, but what about us? How can we motivate ourselves? Because some colleagues say that there are times when they feel a bit down because their pupils are like irresponsible, parents are overprotective. What pieces of advice would you give us all?
The only piece of advice that I can give you is remember that being a teacher is a way to transcend in life. Okay, so something important is that we can be tiring, and of course that's and today, and we're in February, but what happens in May for those of us who finish the school year in June or July? They are the most tiring months. We please do not lose faith in what you do. And of course, we are not going to be we can be tired all the time. And something that I usually tell my teachers is that when you are in your fresh mood and you are, like with a very nice orange juice and your favorite drink, that for me is Coca-Cola, don't tell everybody, but with a Coke, and then with your chips, potato chips, and with chamoy. For all of you who live in Mexico, you know what a chamoy is. And you are, like in your very nice and imaginative time, prepare different activities that you can give your students a day that you're not feeling okay. So you can have like this, like break the class in case of emergency, but that activity that you planned was so well planned that you can actually make it happen and give them that activity. And instead of saying color or write or do whatever or read, there's an activity which was very well thought, an intelligent activity with an intelligent objective behind. And then you can actually give that day to you as okay, I'm not going to, I don't have, like the strength to do something different today. But don't lose hope, don't lose faith. And if you're here, it's because you're a wholehearted teacher. And it's not easy, but we can make a difference. And imagine if you, for example, today we have 1.2K teachers. If I don't think that I'm going to be, to make a change in all of those 1.2K teachers. If I make the difference in 10 teachers, 20 teachers, those teachers will multiply that into their classrooms. So think about this. You have 25 students. What you do will be multiplied by 25, 44, or 100 students that you have.
Right. And maybe you agree with me, but I think it's a question of sometimes one step at a time, because there are moments, one of our colleagues was saying that this requires a lot of preparation, and sometimes we don't have time to prepare so much? Well, step by step, do as much as you can, try and see how it works. What do you think about this? A lot of preparation. How can we tackle this?
Yeah. The first, and thank you for taking this in yes, a teacher has to prepare their classes. I am very sorry, but that's why we nice authors do write very nice teachers guides. Read the teachers guides because the preparation is done for you. Okay, so there you have lots of ideas. And then something which is important is that the first thing is that you're teaching your students on how to be more independent, okay, in their learning. So use, and I don't want you to hear this in a horrible way, but use your students. The first thing, for example, the mind map that I did on the mammals, of course, it takes a lot of time saying like, okay, what kind of drawings am I going to use? What is it that I'm going to do? Once you teach your students how to do it, they can come up with the ideas. Listen to your students. They are able to prepare your classes for you, because the only thing that you have to do is make them enjoy the class that they're going to live. And there are topics which are not very enjoyable. The third conditional, how enjoyable can a third conditional be? Or reported speech. I remember when I learned reported speech, it was like, but the teacher made it so nice and so memorable. It was like gossip day. So it was like, we're going to gossip. She said that. So it was something that was so nice. Every time, if we want to teach our students to learn how to communicate and love English, we have to use the language for a reason, and not just because the book tells you that. The book is
Exactly.
going to tell you the context that you can actually use, right? So yeah, so I think I always think as teachers, like the doctors. If a doctor is not preparing himself or herself, and he or she thinks that they will receive a patient, and they will always say, take ibuprofeno or an
Or
aspirin
two
and go
aspirins
home.
a day. Yeah.
And exactly every single time, it's exactly the teacher doing exactly the same thing every single day. I've been a teacher for 40 years, but that doesn't mean that I've done the things 40 years, been doing exactly the same things. I have changed. And of course, there are people who are a little bit crazy. I always think about myself, like a very crazy person, because I don't mind doing things in the classroom that might.
Crazy in the sense of creative, crazy in the sense of curious, exploring things, exploring
Yeah,
opportunities. Yeah, that's great. And
yeah,
the pupils are never the same all the time. I mean, each child is a whole world. So this is why I think we have to respect all the time the child as a whole. And another
exactly.
interesting question, and I'm sorry we don't have any more time. We could spend much more time talking, but one more question that I think is very interesting. What about STEAM methodology? Do you think it can go hand in hand with your strategies?
Ooh, of course, that would be so cool, because actually what they do, I mean, projects, and this is something that it's really, really good about the book that I took these pictures for. They have projects, so it's not just the verb to be, the present tense, the past tense, the grammar. It's like, now that you do it, go beyond. You will have something to think about. You will have something to be critical about. So yeah, there.
Definitely.
That's exactly it.
Well,
Hands-on,
yeah,
hands-on.
sorry.
Nowadays. Mhm.
Exactly. And ready to change, ready to adapt. Okay. Miriam, it's been such a great pleasure, a real
Thank
honor
you.
to be a host here, to be your
Thank
host.
you very
Okay.
much. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very much.
much.
And
Thank you. Thank
thank you
you.
for your comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope to see you
Bye.
again soon. And thank you all
Soon.
for sharing all your emojis. Okay. A loud clap. Yes. Very, very
Thank
good.
you.
So now
Bye-bye.
we will go on. Yes. Okay. Right. And Miriam has talked about curiosity, creativity, and in fact, all this is what you are going to find in our new series for young learners, Curious Kids. We know how important all the C's are, and cultivating curiosity, the first C, curiosity, is crucial for active engagement in learning and also for fostering a positive and proactive approach. This series, Curious Kids, recognizes the fundamental importance of curiosity, what Myriam was talking about. And every level is packed with questions that will make your students want to learn more and more about the topic that you are presenting. Also, creativity, it's essential. So creative expression is key in children's emotional development. And in this series, you're not going to find just language, you're going to find art, dance, poetry, singing, creative thinking, problem solving, critical thinking. That is great. But we all like language skills. And of course, we need vocabulary and grammar. But how? With a lot of practice, through songs, through videos, through real life situations and real life dialogues that become models for the children to imitate and then develop their speaking skills. And of course, values and social and emotional learning. These are so important nowadays. These are emphasized how, where, in all the stories in Curious Kids and in the group projects that show real world scenarios. So if you are interested, if you want to have more information, scan the code, learn more about Curious Kids, 6 levels for the primary classroom.